your bill, do with it what you like. No.
Okay, now, so my bill is the Transit Blues Plan, and so in America we do not have a high-speed railway. So what this is a magnetic train basically that uses magnets and does not use any fuel at all, and it's used to travel like great distances at great speed. It's implemented in Japan, and it is really efficient because one, it's like the fastest train in the world, and two, it doesn't use any fuel at all. And so my plan is to implement this train into the US to connect the east and west coast. And so in order to do this, we would need to, one, give the US Department of Transportation the oversee of this bill, and we'd need to give $72 billion, and this would come from the Transportation Intercity Railway funding, and this is because the intercity railways, although they are fuel efficient, they still use diesel, and so diesel is it accounts for 72% of the U.S. oil's imports, and so that's 6 billion gallons of oil, 6 billion barrels of oil that are just imported just for trains. And so with that, and with the stopping of these trains, we can use that to implement one long one. You get what I'm saying? Everyone understand? Okay. And so then we'd also have to do, the president just passed a 1.3 billion carbon reduction plan, and so we could use this from the states, and it would be an incentive grant for each state along this trail to implement parts of the train within it. Are there any questions? Yes.
Don't say anything.
LeBron.
Okay, so I know from seeing other countries implement these types of railways that it's very infrastructure heavy to actually operate these. So does your plan include the cost of actually building
Yes.
a railway across the entire US?
Yes.
And the infrastructure for that?
It does. That is why, so this is actually the beginning of it, and so it's $7.2 billion to start, and that's just to get it from the start point, and then after that we'll look for more investors to invest in it so that way we can have greater infrastructure, because there are some times when that these companies, like I'll give SpaceX, that have better technology than the government does in order to implement these and to be more efficient than we.
Representative Kavanaugh?
Why would we implement such a cost-heavy project when there's planes and already transcontinental railroads that are already in place?
So all these planes and trains, they all use diesel. Like there's nothing to do that they cannot use diesel. So then with this, it would kind of eliminate that ability for diesel to be used in both trains and planes. And the majority of this does come from planes, the aviation, and so that's why this train would be more fuel efficient.
Representative Lee?
I have two questions. Are you calling for the establishment of a single line from coast to coast, and if so, where would the line begin and where would it end?
Okay, that's good. So I began it from New York all the way to San Francisco. Yes. That's the best way, because New York, one, it's a very big port, and it can be used to also transport things, and San Francisco is the other side, and also a very big port. So yes. Oh, single line. At first it is going to be a single line just because of the fact that sometimes having two, it's not as efficient, but then once we build one, we can add the lines to make it go both south and north.
So are you ultimately hoping to replace conventional standard diesel using?
Yes.
Representative Bryce?
Holy shit.
I just have a question. So this would likely be going through many of the the more rural states in the Midwest, like the breadbasket area or whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
So if this potentially caused